Welcome back to the Citystead, everyone. It feels so great being in the greenhouse, knowing that it's a little bit chilly outside, kind of a little bit of wind, but in here it's nice and pleasant and zero wind. So you can't beat that. Now, if you've seen some of the older videos, I was kind of playing chicken with winter. I was messing around a little bit. I had some tomatoes out there, and I really wanted them to start ripening and blush while on the vine so that they can actually taste delicious.
With this tomato garden, we'll be sure to win the Veggie Fest.
Now, I know you could pick the green tomatoes, and you have green tomatoes. A lot of people told me they would ripen. I've never knew they would actually ripen if they were real green on the vine when you pick them. So that was kind of interesting to learn. I appreciate all of you who commented and told me that, because as long as I've grown tomatoes, I've never picked a green one that was like really green. I just never have. I've waited till they blushed, or I would lose them if it was too late in the year. But this year, I really wanted to push that extra week and see if I could make it through a couple real low temperatures, and we did. And they didn't really blush either. So it wasn't warm enough this week for them to actually blush, which kind of bummed me out, but they are still green, and it is going to be really chilly like 2-3 nights in a row here. So I am for sure going to pick them, and I'm going to take you guys out there. We're going to talk about tomatoes and picking them, and my silly ideal of trying to push my season an extra week and just play chicken with winter. It worked. I mean, they're not dead. They're not gone. I still have them. So I won. Take that, Mother Nature.
On-off go, but he did, and now Darren McCarty gets it.
But I gotta get them off those things. I think what I'm gonna do is bring them in here so they can have some sun ripened, because if we could still get them to sun ripen, I think that'll give them the best flavor. And all of you guys who grow tomatoes know as well as I do, the one reason you grow tomatoes is to have homegrown tomato taste. And part of that, a big part of that, is actually having the sun-ripened tomato flavor. When you don't have the sun-ripened tomato, it doesn't taste as good. That sun does something to it, and it makes it just marvelous, you know? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to bring them in here, set them on the table, and we're going to let them ripen in here. And then we'll see how long it takes for them to ripen with the sun and the greenhouse effect going on. So let's head outside, grab the tomatoes, we'll bring them in here, we'll lay them all out, and hopefully they ripen up on us. Alright, come on, let's get out there. Let's go. You guys are pretty lazy. You're almost like teenagers. I'll carry you. So this is what I was calling Tomato Alley this year. I had put two 8-foot cattle panels on their side with some T-posts to hold them up, and I was kind of twining my tomatoes in between there to use it as a trellis system. And it worked out pretty good. I'm happy with the way it worked. I wish my plants would have got a little more full and robust, which they didn't because of our very long, rainy spring that we had, and cool. It was definitely cool and rainier than I've ever had before. So, and a lot of you experienced it, you know. Very odd year to start for gardening, but I built these. I think I'm going to continue using them where they're at. I liked the way they set up in here, and I may actually do a few more of them. I got a little more space going down, and I got some stuff behind me. So, but right now we're going to pull all these tomatoes off and get them back inside there.
Tomatoes, 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 tomatoes. I love tomatoes, I really, really do. I wish you could feel just like the way I do. Because I love tomatoes, there's some for me and you. And I love tomatoes, and they love me too. My life would be a trash bag if it wasn't for tomatoes. Tomatoes, I love tomatoes, and they love me too. I'm loving them more than they love me too. And I love
A couple of these got
tomatoes.
some pretty good size on them.
They love me too.
Not too shabby.
I love tomatoes.
I mean, they're no monster tomatoes or anything,
I
but
love tomatoes.
definitely doable. Slice her up, put them on some salads, maybe a sandwich or two.
Tomatoes.
Ooh, fresh tomatoes though in
Tomato.
end of October. Definitely can't
Tomato.
beat that. I still got a few of these to go pick up yet out in the garden, but I downed a couple of almost ripe cherry tomatoes. Still pretty tasty, even though they had a little bit of frost a couple times, but still turned out to be really good. So like I said, I got a few more I gotta go out there and gather up, but this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sit them on this table in here, and I'm gonna hope that the sun comes out tomorrow and we'll ripen them next couple of days. I just want to make sure I pick them because it is getting into the 30s at night, so a little too cold to be leaving them out. The plants are starting to die finally. They're not as green as they were last week, so for sure it is time. Gotta stop playing games, but just wanted to show you guys I got some of these tomatoes off. I'm bringing them in here hoping that that sun will give them a little bit of ripeness, and just sun ripened I hope will taste better than, you know, on the counter in the house ripened. We will see what happens. It's funny, I was just out there picking all the ripe ones because it's getting cold outside, and look at the tomato in my greenhouse. You guys see that? It's blooming. And it's not just there, there's like a few other. Whoop, come down here. Come down here with me. Look at this one. It's got a bunch of blooms on it too. That's awesome. I'm gonna have to get out here and do a little shaky thing on them to try to get them to pollinate each other. But that's pretty cool. This is exactly what I was really hoping for by trying to save this tomato plant in here, is that I could get tomatoes, you know, for the next little while, and it looks like it's definitely happening. There's some in here that are ripening up. They're down at the bottom over here. You can see them in there. Just ripening up, doing really nice. There's a whole bunch of green ones up here. So it looks like, as far as the cherry tomato and being able to extend the season in here, because we are now really close to Halloween. We're like a week away from Halloween, and lo and behold, tomatoes. Still getting them. So I think in November I could still possibly harvest a few of these little tomatoes. It's got me pumped. It's got me excited about this greenhouse. Just so excited about what the possibilities are. I even have some greens in here that are all sprouting now. I planted these, so you guys have already seen that video. You can see some down there. It's kind of hard to see. They're a little bit small right now, but in another week or two, they're going to be a lot larger, and that's so exciting to see. I even have little peppers in here. The peppers I transplanted. Now they're a little bit harder to see, but they're really tiny flowers. They just started. It's just crazy to think. I had never thought about it. I had always wanted a greenhouse, but I never knew I would actually be able to use it and grow and, you know, have tomatoes in October ripening and still flowering because of this little greenhouse. And this isn't even like a very well insulated greenhouse. If you were to build a more robust insulated greenhouse, could you imagine the possibilities with just sun? There is nothing else heating this thing but the sun. So crazy to think, crazy to think. I'm so excited about moving forward and working with this little greenhouse. And if this one becomes very successful, I am for sure going to be building a second one next door to it right here. And we'll have to move some more stuff and expand the garden again, because that's where I have a lot of tomatoes right next to here. Or they'll just be greenhouse tomatoes. We'll see what happens, you know, but crazy. This greenhouse has got me so excited. This is exactly what I'd always been hoping for the years that I dreamed of building myself a little greenhouse. It's happening. So excited. So now I gotta go do a bunch of work because I got a ton of stuff I gotta get done. A lot of stuff. And try to catch up on some chores while I got some time off here. So as usual, we'll see you guys in the next one.